It's November 13th, 2023. I'll call this regular select board meeting of the town of Proctor to order. And if everyone would please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, review and approve the agenda.
Could we make a change?
Yeah.
Could we move our budget review down to just before adjourn?
Sure.
And that'll get everybody, won't have to listen to that. I mean, if they want to, they're certainly welcome to stay, but.
We can certainly do that. Any other changes to the agenda? If not, is there a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Review and approve the October 23rd regular select board meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Good news. Any good news to share?
Well, the fire department was a smashing hit, I think, in my opinion.
I had a hard time remembering if it was since our last meeting or not, so. It was good.
It was a great turnout, and it was nice to see representatives of our area there come speak and honor our fire department and speak to the value of having a volunteer fire department. And it was also nice to see generational, since Panucci's over here, I'll use that as an example. But see that continuing generational, or even within the families, Raznowski's, Moody, like that. So it's nice to see how that ties into our community.
And I've shared a CD of all the photos taken, so we have plenty of photos to upload and do things.
And I would just say, as you're starting to work on budget, I know one of the things you'll look at is the town report, and I would offer that since we have these amazing pictures of the fire department and the crew, and it's done in the 25th anniversary, that would be an appropriate photo to go on the cover, along with the write-up about the fire department inside.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Any other good news? Open public comment.
You did, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So the Proctor Elementary School PTO, I'm president, and we're looking to do a fundraiser in April. I don't know if you guys are aware.
I don't have any children in elementary. Could you just introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Vicki Perkins. I'm married to Brian Perkins. He's
Okay, yeah.
born and raised here,
South
so
Street,
I'm
yeah.
sure you've heard who the Perkins is. Maybe not Vicki, but, you know, Brian, Bill or Mary.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So we're looking to fundraise for new playground equipment, working on pre-K first, and then hopefully replacing the structure. So that's, you know, PTO's big goal right now. And we're looking to hold a color run April 27th. I have a map if you guys would like to know the route that we would like to plan. I don't know if that's something that you guys need to see or would like to see.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Actually,
With the trouble printing it too.
yeah, just down the road. We'd start at the gazebo, you know, go around Beaver Pond. We'd have a couple of water stations, a few stations where you actually throw the color. The main of it would be right here, Main Street Park, the gazebo. We'd have the main 5K, and then for the younger kids, because it is the elementary school who can't make the whole, you know, 3.1 miles, we probably just do like a color dash for them, like a 100-meter. But Liz Colte, the principal, has the facility use form. We'll be reaching out to you to best fill that out, make sure you got all the documentation you need. So I'm just wondering if you guys, we're looking for approval, wondering if you guys have any questions for us.
It was a huge hit when it was done 2 or 3 years ago. It was a great fundraiser for the school.
What's the date on that?
April 27th. We probably will start doing stuff for setup around 9 o'clock. hopefully end by 3 o'clock, maybe do some music afterwards, like just an after run mini party, for lack of a better word.
Great.
Yeah, it's just,
We're gonna have lots of, hopefully, teacher participation, and they would hopefully be in that role. We definitely be having the, I don't think we need to shut down any of the streets. My main thing is thinking, like, top of this hill, because people would be running down it, having somebody there just to kind of slow down traffic. But it would be an open course. We're not looking to close any of the roads.
Maybe we could have a sheriff there that day.
Absolutely.
I saw you making a note.
Already got it written down.
Yeah, the race starts at 11. Hopefully, I mean, it's gonna be open for walkers as well, so I'd imagine maybe an hour and a half, hour 45 max for maybe our slower, slower participants. But, yeah.
That sounds great. I think just the facilities use agreement, and then once we get all the information, we'll be
Yep.
able to approve it.
Yeah, Liz was gonna try to stop by, but I know she's busy. So she's gonna reach out to you to get that filled out, make sure the insurance and.
Okay,
So
awesome.
that's all I have, unless you guys have any other
Oh, looks
questions
great.
for me?
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty well planned out here.
Thank you.
Perfect, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Excellent. All right, moving into the discussion and action items. Everybody had a chance to review the bills and sign them? And then we have the MTAP, Municipal Technical Assistance Program, pre-approved for assignment.
So that was the one that Devin Neary shared with us, and we need board approval to move forward on it. So what we're looking for is just a motion that we actually want to participate, and to allow me to write the statement, so the project we want.
And this is the one that would conceivably get us money for the
For the wastewater.
For the wastewater, yeah.
Right.
Is there a motion to approve?
Loss of service.
Yes, motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Excellent. Sheriff Fox.
Yo, I'm not sure how you want to go. You have a question you want to ask, or how do you want to cover it?
Yes, not so much the need, you have the expertise, you and your department, for the needs and why things are done, but there was just some of the items I, was wondering about why the town of Proctor is being billed for them. They're not items that are unique to Proctor, they're items that may be used in Proctor, and then they're also used in West Drummond or Mendon or wherever else they go. And I would think those are the items that should be charged against a sheriff department budget line item, like equipment repair, equipment maintenance, computer upgrades, and for example, I'll just give you a few.
Sure.
It's the start of the shift, and it's, 1700 to 7:30, and I'm not sure about what a lot of these acronyms are for, but RCSD, I would assume that's the start of the shift, that's at the Rutland County Sheriff Department, fixing cruiser cam, and I think that was, there was a follow-up on that one, and that was, update that was done on that. And I would think, again, because it's not unique for Proctor updating that camera, it's going to be used anywhere that cruiser goes. I would think that would have been charged against Sheriff Department, upgrade, rather than billing it for the town of Proctor.
So when those kind of things I'm Sergeant Cross, I'm the patrol commander. When those kind of things are, essentially what that is that is the officer that is assigned, he's coming in, something with his equipment on the way acted up. So he is on time for here. He comes in to get that repaired. If a call comes in, he's going to leave it as is, but that's just something, a quick, short-term, hey, he may come see me, I may have to just do something in the programming real quick or whatever else. He's available for any calls as they come in. they get it done, and they're back on the road in town. If it is a significant or time-inclusive repair or update or something like that, those are not generally done on town time. Those are things that are done separately.
Yeah, like oil changes and all that stuff is done on department time.
But still, you know, you say it's town time, but when you look at this, well, that was the system update, you know, and,
Well, in order to make the system work, which we use when we're on patrol, if he gets a call in Proctor, he wouldn't have that system that would be optimal. So we wouldn't have any video, we wouldn't have any audio, any complaint or case that we had to handle unless the system upgrade was done. And it doesn't, I mean, that's a little bit of, you know, usually there's something that we get ahead of time that we know there's an issue, so we have it on a down day, but there's certain times when things come in and there's a glitch with any computer type thing that can throw it off, and it either it's not copying audio or it's not copying video, or it's just not recording altogether, so we have to get that operational for the shift.
but Proctor's paying for that fix, but yet if he does his 3 hours in Proctor, then goes to West Rutland or Mendon, that fix has been taken care of.
Correct.
Proctor's paying for it, but yet it's being utilized, you know, in West Rutland and Mendon,
Well,
wherever else.
it would be
you know,
West Rutland or Proctor, and you guys are in a combined patrol, so that's, you know, I'm sure they get charges as well, things that need to be maintained. And last minute notice, like major stuff, like I said, oil changes or anything that needs to be done, tie rod ends or whatever, is done on department time. It's not billed in town times.
You know, and then another one, you know, with fixing the computer scan in the car. When I look at that, I think, you know, that's, again, that should be charged against sheriff department, fixing equipment, repairing equipment, budget line item, rather than, you know, building the town of Proctor. And again, you have to have it, like you see the need for having that stand, you know, have your laptop on. And, but, you know, it's not unique for the town of Proctor. Wherever that cruiser goes, you know,
And
Proctor paid for that fix.
Those kind of things happen across, it's as where they're at. So there are gonna be times where the other car that covers West Rutland Proctor, if they start their shift in West Rutland and they have an issue, you know, a week or two later, West Rutland may get the same kind of a bill, and you're right, so West Rutland gets that, but that car is answering calls in Proctor. You know, so it isn't just everything is one, it's kind of across the board, but something like that would be, you know, a bolt rattle, I mean, we got a lot of dirt roads, things rattle loose, whatever, and he's driving and all of a sudden the stand drops down. That's something that has to be fixed immediately to be able to keep that car in service for calls. It's a quick 5-10 minute fix. We get it in, we get it fixed and get it back on the road while they're...
And then another one, drive to Rutland City for RHS PM traffic detail. You know, again, when I read that, I'm wondering, you know, why are we paying for, you know, drive to Rutland City for, you know, traffic detail at Rutland High School?
Well, do you have the date on that one?
Yes, that one was 10/13/2023. You know, there was activity from 1325 to 1500 hours. And part of that is drive to Rutland City for RHS PM traffic detail. That was number 52756.
We have Control Room 3, Storm Bridge Road, Stars Report, and emails.
Yes, and then the end part of that, you know, driving from Proctor to Rutland City for the traffic detail.
Yeah, was something that he, I'm sure, covered at the last minute, but it was...
You know, when I read the report though, you know, that just, to me, it raises a red flag, you know, because again, you know, Proctor's paying for his travel to the Rutland for its traffic detail. And then another one there, maintenance fixing front passenger tire. EQ maintenance fixing front passenger
So
tire.
that was, the deputy was in Proctor doing traffic work, went to execute a traffic stop, and blew out a tire. So he had to change a flat tire,
Okay.
switched it over. His spare was a little soft, He went back to the office, switched it into an appropriate spare, and came back to Proctor.
But again, I would think that would be under equipment repair. Granted, he's, you know, in town, but... And I mean, there are others, but... Again, you know, just one other one, fixing tire on EQ. I don't know what's EQ, but...
EQ is what we use for our patrol vehicle, our EQ.
Yeah. It's just those types of items that I think, you know, should be charged against a sheriff department line item for equipment repair or equipment maintenance, rather than billing, you know, a municipality for policing when it really isn't the policing.
I think what got us started was a few weeks ago, one of your officers charged us to drive into Rutland and eat and come back. You know, that was, I think, what started all this.
Yeah, that one shouldn't be on, I wouldn't think, to take a break for lunch.
There was that, and then the same one, it was go to the Humane Society to check on a dog.
Yeah, that was a stray that was picked up here, that we had to make sure that they had the paperwork on. We had to follow up with them to make sure we put it in the shed. And we have to keep going, we have to make sure that they check the shed often, because they don't have the crew that they used to have there, so.
I think on that one, it's just dog that was found in Proctor, you know, so that it's obvious what that's for,
Right.
basically.
Yeah, and we're gonna work on the deputies to have them kind of spell things out a little better, rather than acronyms.
Yeah, what's R1?
Resident, that's their residence. So you like, referring to like travel R1 to patrol area, if you look at that, the times usually on those, we're trying to get the deputies to be more descriptive, give you guys more information about what's going on. So
R1 certainly isn't very descriptive.
It's kind of like, I don't know if anybody's been, you get used to using the acronyms, and it's hard to get that out of them sometimes. But
So
if you look
we're paying them to drive from their house to Proctor?
If you look on those, usually on those, it'll say like 1340 to 1400, and then the billing starts at 1400 on a lot of those. So it was
You know, I've never seen that before.
So what I think where a lot of this is coming is every deputy kind of, you know, we don't have a set format. Every deputy does these a little different. I'm sure, you know, Bruce has been on the board a long time and seen a lot of different styles and things like that. So back in September, we did a complete deputy change of all of our patrol towns except one. All the deputies changed. So you got two new deputies that have a bit of a different style. So we're trying to get them to kind of come back to where, you know, the boards are used to seeing from their previous deputies. But like that R1 to whatever, if you look, like that.
You charge half an hour here.
Which date is that?
That's this one, I think.
It's multiple ones.
It's the 21st.
So like 10/21/23, activity 1330 to 1400, travel time from R1 to Proctor coverage area. But if you look right above that, the billing for that day didn't start till 1400. So it's noted that she was traveling to the town from 1330 to 1400, but the billing on that did not start till 1400. So she's describing what she was doing, stating that she was in town.
What about the one that says car wash at Alderman's for detail? Rutland County Sheriff Department to pick up candy bucket for elementary school Halloween detail, travel time to airport detail in Clarendon.
What date is that?
10/27.
I do not have that one here.
Well, that's the one that's in the packet today.
Why are they telling us they're driving when, you know, we don't need to know that?
Well, like I said, we've tried to have them be descriptive, so that's part of them being descriptive. When we ask them to put down what they're doing in their patrol shifts.
You're gonna be busy.
Yeah, there's a lot to read when they put those down. So it's hard to temper, like, I want detail, but if you start asking them not to put it in, then you might not get something that you want put in there. So it's a little elementary at
In their
times.
defense, I know a year or two ago where the board asked for detail, they wanted more detail and less being vague, and now they got more detail, and now they're being micromanaged because they put every detail down.
Well, driving to Rutland for lunch, I don't think is micromanaging. You know, our town employees, we certainly don't pay them for lunch. These are contractors.
Our town guys get paid for lunch.
They do,
Yeah, most public works guys do.
okay, but they don't drive to Rutland, right?
Well, if there's nothing here to get, they might ride around and get something to eat. I'm just saying, like, a lot of the details, like Albert talked about, are things like if I came into work to do my job and something else happened and I had to tend to it, I'm still getting paid for it, even though maybe it wasn't on my, to-do list that day. But it still falls under the scope of what they have to do. Like if they have to adjust their computer and they're on Proctor time, then it falls into play. I mean,
Right,
But if you
we pay contractual, so their responsibility is to provide equipment and a deputy that are ready to go.
Right.
That means when their day starts, that car should be prepared. It shouldn't be at 13:33, they're checking the car to make sure the computer works, the stand works. I mean, someone was in that car the night before. When I leave my office or I leave my workplace, I don't leave things broken for the next day. So, and some of these things, like the one I just asked about that we just didn't answer about the car wash, why would we be paying for them to go wash their car? That is a maintenance item.
Right.
That's it. So, I mean, it's $1,420 to $1,500. I mean, so I think part of the problem is with the details, some of these things don't make any sense. And we know when we sign a contract that we're paying for hours. And I have a feeling when the contract comes back here, as we look at budgets, this contract's gonna increase because gas has increased. And we know that they have in their contract, if gas goes up a certain piece, that it's gonna go up. I'm sure their insurance has gone up. I know it's gone up for the school, it's gone up here at the town, so all those pieces are gonna come into play. So I think as a contractor, they have a responsibility to come and be ready to work. If I hired someone to come and dig, I'm not paying for them to dig or to fix their equipment while they're sitting on my property. If they're not digging and their equipment isn't ready to go, that's their problem. You're out of luck. You don't get to tie me to that time.
but if I come to work, there's plenty of times where I've come to work here or other places and my computer doesn't work. So I didn't plan on that not working, so I have to have it fixed. And that's downtime. I've driven places before and I didn't plan on having a flat tire, but I got a flat tire. So I just feel a lot of the things are in the line of duty that happen and have to be taken care of then. So those things I find justifiable. The car wash, yeah, no, but these other things, I do.
But I think when it's at the beginning of the shift, that's the problem, that's the question. When things are being fixed at the beginning of the shift, in my opinion.
And if you have that IT tech guy come and fix your computer, and he starts working on your computer, and he's using his laptop and it crashes, and he spends 1 hour getting his laptop booted back up and back to operating condition, and then he charges the town for that hour that he spent working on his personal computer. You're gonna pay him for that hour he spent working on his personal computer to get it booted back up? I hope not. You know, you're just gonna pay for the time that
But the
he
same
was supposed to.
token, while he's working on my computer and I'm not being able to work on it, I'm still getting paid.
Well, yes, you are, but he's not. He's the
Right, but
contract
that's what I'm
person.
saying.
No, it's not.
I would expect an officer to, at least open the trunk before the shift and see the spare tire was flat.
Well, we don't, to be honest, yeah, they probably don't check the spare tires.
Truck drivers have to walk around their truck at least and look at the tires,
Right.
make sure nothing's loose. I would expect an officer to at least walk around his car.
Yeah, I mean, the tires are underneath, I'm sure they're not crawling underneath there to check.
I didn't say that.
Tire
Yes.
is got
I
here.
didn't say that.
Well, the tire blew, it wasn't like it was
Not the
soft.
spare you said was, he had to go with something, because the spare wasn't good
The
either.
spare was soft, yes, it needed air.
That's a maintenance item.
Right, but it's, like I said, it's under the car. I'm not sure they're crawling underneath there to check it. I mean, it's under the back of the car. It's not,
Not in the trunk.
no, it's underneath the rear of the vehicle.
I guess I will say that I've always kind of wondered, I mean, to me, the 40 hours is for someone in the town patrolling and providing law enforcement. So stuff like a car wash, stuff like that, I do question that a little bit. I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
Do you think that instead of having them make them go through the effort of writing everything out like long, that you could just provide us with a list of all the acronyms that they use, so we could, if you read something, you'd be able to say, oh, this is what that means. Would that be a possibility?
There's a lot of them, but
I can try, you know, it depends, because I mean, there are some things.
So some abbreviate differently than others?
Correct, and you know, the way that they do some of them, like, you'll see some of them, it'll, like, on here, 1TS, 3W, NR, BNI, DEF. That's one traffic stop, 3 warnings, no registration, defective equipment, and inspection. So the NR, BNI, DEF, that kind of, those are the state violation codes, the DMV codes, things like that. You know, as far as some of the others, and that's some of the stuff we're trying to get them to spell out a little bit more, you know, TS being a traffic stop. You might see 175, because that's our radio code for a traffic stop, is a 1075. So, like I said, each person kind of has their own style on how they do it. That's why some of it's a little bit difficult, but a lot of them, you know, are just the state codes, NR, VNI, DEF. That's the state violation codes for what they stop that car for.
I think if we could get like the basic abbreviations, though, absolutely would be very, like R1, I mean, that would be really helpful to have, because I'll remember that for a week or two, and then.
No, absolutely.
Any other questions for the sheriff?
I would just like to say thank you for coming.
I appreciate that information.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, guys. Thank you, guys.
Have a safe night.
Thanks, you as well.
Appointed committee handbook. And I think.
So I think the,
Sorry, go ahead.
So I think the purpose of putting this on there was just to kind of look at committee structure, but also in regards to the, well, the Airbnb was the second, no, it's
Yeah.
okay. So, yeah, so kind of creating a committee for the short-term rentals that we talked about, that there's concerns about.
Wait, I thought we were on the appointed committee handbook.
Oh, okay, I jumped it, I thought I combined them in the same thing.
No, I don't see where the Airbnb one is.
Well, that was part of it.
So I think what the thought was, at least the thought I had was, that we should have.
It's below.
Is it below?
Yep.
Okay, so just for both the appointed committee handbook and then spoiler alert for the Airbnb, that it probably would make sense to set up a couple of committees, because I don't think we want to write the ordinance in a meeting. And the same thing with the appointed committee handbook, I think it might make sense to have a committee that would be willing to take a look at this, make any, I mean, there are revisions that need to be made that are, you know, basic, like, I think it still says town administrator in here instead of town manager. But also, you know, just to take a look at it, see what revisions we need to make recommendations, and then the full board can make a decision, but I just don't think it's a good use of our meeting time to do that.
I just think that
Budget time.
a lot of the committees have kind of been watered down over the years. Like when I look way back on a lot of Stan stuff and some of the details of committees, how they're structured, how they're supposed to be structured, they're not any longer. And so I just kind of think we should kind of tie it up better. I mean, this was 2009 that it was last revised. And I just think it'd be better to have it more structured. I mean, you have the, you know, standing committees, which are, you know, they are what they are. But even like the Beaver Pond Committee and stuff, I think doesn't follow any of these kind of guidelines and stuff. So I think it'd be nice to, if we create committees, that they're all going by the same standards.
So is there anybody who would like to serve on the committee on committees?
I'll do that with Jude. It's just a rewrite. I worked out with Stephanie when we first did it.
Okay.
You said, what'd you say? I'm sorry.
I said, I'll work with you and Judy to do that. I said, when Stephanie first did it, we worked on it. That's how we got the committees.
All right.
Let's do that.
So you'll work with Judy and me?
Yeah. You didn't realize your hand was up.
Kind of like an auction. I didn't realize what I was doing.
We call that being voluntold.
All right, that works, because I don't have an option.
All right, so the committee will be Lisa, Linda, and Judy. Okay. Placement of no parking sign on North Street from the corner of School Street South.
So we had some complaints about, up North Street, past Franklin's, about cars parking close to the stop sign, or from the stop sign down. When kids get out of school, that a lot of kids have to walk in the road, because the cars are parked there. And we passed an ordinance, when we updated the ordinance before, it was designated one of the no parking places in Proctor. So, I don't know why no signs were ever put up there. I know we talked about it. It's probably like Kane Street or something that just kind of went on the wayside. So I did check with the sheriff's department to say, is an ordinance enough to have in place that you could ticket somebody for parking there? And he said, no, you need to have no parking signs as well.
Where is this from?
Up by, right down School Street, you take a right onto North.
Yeah.
Right there. They park on.
Oh, right on the sidewalk. Okay,
yeah.
Exactly. South, got me confused.
Yeah, that's
Did I
north,
put South
right?
Street?
That would have been Taylor Hill.
Corner of School Street South.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right, you're right.
Yep, that makes
Okay,
sense
so
now.
we're going north.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it goes, the ordinance goes all the way down to Main Street. So all the way to Franklin, so they can't park along the road.
A lot of them park at Franklin's.
That's fine.
Yeah,
It's a parking lot.
yeah.
But they're parked on the sidewalk on
Yeah, I don't think,
School Street.
Yeah, yeah.
Parents that are
Yeah,
parked
they-
there.
I don't know why they don't.
I don't think it's parents.
No, I don't think it is either.
Oh, that park on, no,
Yeah.
it's not. It's residents.
Because there are pickup people that park on the side of Gibb.
Right. Right.
Because I usually wait, at that intersection, I park down at the old carpenter shop parking
Yeah.
lot, and then I walk up there and wait at that intersection. And there are people that do park on
Yeah.
Taylor Hill, not Gibb, but Taylor Hill.
Yeah, this is just North Street, right, and it's right in front of that one house.
Yes.
That's where they park.
Yeah.
So the guy said they would get signs.
Okay. I don't think we need a motion to do that, and we've already
No.
passed the ordinance, so.
No. I just wanted to make you aware.
And then our next committee to discuss short-term rentals.
Could I suggest we give this to the planning commission, let them deal with it, we're in the middle of budgets here.
Sure.
That seems like a good job for them.
Yeah.
You need a motion,
We're really just asking them to do it, so I don't think we need a motion.
or, good.
Okay.
Unless they refuse to. then-
Stormwater drainage map. Top 4 projects.
Yes, so I didn't print all of the projects out because the presentation is hard to navigate and everything is on computer, so if you click on something that you want to print, it just puts another page on top of it, and it's very, very detailed and very deep to the weeds, so I couldn't even, I had to keep asking her to send it in a different method to me, so I could print these out, so she sent me links, so I printed out the top 4, but I have a list of the top 10, which is kind of strange because a lot of the top 10, the top one wasn't even one of the top 4. So I don't know how they came up with that, other than when we met with them, if we said to them, we think this should be the priority, so that's what they changed it to. Because the garage was number 1,
Yes.
and then Cross Street and Main Street were 2 and 3. So, and Eden Avenue, Pleasant Street, Latola's parking lot, School Street, Beaver Pond, Town Sand area, wastewater treatment plant, and Meadow Street. Those are the 10. Well, these 4 were part of that 10. These are the 4 they extracted that said were priorities. And I don't know if it's because it seemed the easiest or most feasible to do what we wanted to do, and we talked about the rain gardens and stuff, that those properties could withstand that project where the others are more. Although I think some of the green space could all just be flower gardens, but.
Somebody's trying to get in.
Huh?
Somebody's trying to get in.
Oh,
After 2 meetings with the engineering firm there, I was not impressed at all. And now we know, you know, what, the last thing we were told, project number 1 was the elementary school. And now it's the town garage. They hadn't contacted the schools at all to ask them if they wanted to attend the meeting. I don't want to get involved in this project. Building little rain gardens.
okay.
You know, we asked about the sewer plant, and they said no.
Albert?
I'm also totally confused. I really would like to see what the mission statement is for this program, because most of us were at that public meeting. We brought up issues. They don't care about historical data about storm water damage that has occurred in this town. You know, and I would think any master plan, you'd want to look at the history to see where the issues are, which ones keep coming up again. But this master plan makes no mention of it. You know, their master plan didn't even acknowledge, you know, answering any of the questions that we brought up, the concerns that we brought up, you know, at that meeting. And one of the big issues was West Street. You know, they've got that runoff coming off the mountain, and there's culverts that dump, you know, down into that area. That problem down there is getting worse, not better. And that's not even in their top 10. And, you know, they took the contact information. Did they ever come and speak with anybody or give us a report of any type? No, they never gave us any reports.
I asked them.
Anything that we brought up,
Yeah.
yes, you know, I think has just been tabled. They've got their kind of their own agenda. That's why I'd love to see what their mission statement is. And two, when you look at these top 4 that are here, they list the benefits and, you know, of doing the projects. And the most common benefit is aesthetics. You know, when you think of a stormwater master plan and these top 4 projects of theirs are for aesthetics, you know, we've got more pressing issues than the aesthetics of these places. And you know, the elementary school, that was one of the questions that was asked. You know, it's surrounded by earth. You know, is that a good filter for the issues? And again, there's no response to it. On that one, though, they did say that Act 250 permit is required for any project at the elementary school. And I don't know if it's because we raised the question that, you know, parking at that lot is at a premium. We hate to see any of the parking spaces taken.
Oh, God, yeah.
And, you know, the playground area is small to begin with, and it was just like Vicky was telling us, they'd like to get some additional playground equipment for pre-K and kindergarten kids. You know, again, so they're going to use some more of the property there. So, you know, that's at a premium. And the picture shows that area next to the sidewalk, you know, School Street sidewalk, why, that's 3 feet or so heavier than, or higher than the parking lot. And the parking lot's got, you know, the culvert in the center of the parking lot, and the water's gonna go to the culvert. I mean, they pave it such that the water runs to the culvert. You know, so I would think that, and that was another thing, you know, we asked last meeting was about the map of the culvert system in town. that would still be nice to have. And that's where I would have thought they would have tried to intercept that was, in the culvert system.
I agree with you, Albert, and I think unfortunately this is kind of a convoluted project that has more than one goal. We didn't know up until 40 minutes into that meeting that the real goal is to prevent phosphorus from being put into Lake Champlain. And I would prefer not to spend any money on this, to be honest.
Yeah, and you can't do anything at the town garage. You've got big trucks moving in and out of that, both ends of that building, and there isn't that much room. You park some equipment on that west side of the building and then try to run a big truck in and out of there. There isn't that much room between there and the guardrail. It's just kind of...
Well, it'd be different if the state were willing to dump tons of money into the towns to do these changes so that the water wouldn't be impacted in Lake Champlain.
Well,
It's all on us.
I think there's more places, other places between here and Lake Champlain that would
Right, a
have
lot of them aren't doing it, so,
Well, a lot of them are on the other side of the river in New
these
York State.
places and the Riverside Cemetery, come on.
I agree with
well, I also think that some of these suggestions, like rain gardens, like the school, the library, some of the people in town might take those on themselves and do it without going through, these steps and...
A rain garden isn't gonna solve everything, I think. And but when I first spoke to Michael about this, I had told him about, I was telling him about our backyard, and he was really interested. Oh, this would be perfect for them, perfect. So that's where I got kind of confused, because this water does eventually go down and get to the creek.
Sure.
So it does head out to the lake, but...
And it's been doing that for
Yeah,
hundreds of years.
yeah.
Well, I had a phone call today from somebody else in town who has a culvert that's having issues with water going into their property because the ditch is now overgrown and it's not heading where it should. And he actually completed the survey too, but never heard anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I never heard of
that property wasn't listed.
They never got back to you?
Never got, and then even when we had a meeting in your office, I said, if one of you would please meet with me, I'll show you exactly what I mean. No one's ever contacted me.
Yeah.
And I disagree with the fact that the state wants this done, but it's up to the towns to take care of it, financially.
Yeah.
So are we just gonna leave this on the table and say,
Yes, I would make a motion that we
Yeah.
table it. I would hate to say get out of it, because they said that, well, eventually the state may come down and say, you're gonna be doing something.
Yeah.
Where this way we still have our foot in the door and we can...
So wait a minute, because it's a process. It's, it's like they're doing a plan and then, you make the steps and then you can get grant money. So it's like, what do you want me to tell them? That we're not going to the next step?
We don't want to go to the first step.
We not accepted any of the projects.
So you don't want, I'm just gonna say you don't want to get involved. Correct?
at this time, yes?
At this time.
At this
yes.
time. Yeah.
Because we asked about payment, and they said it would be totally reimbursed, but that wouldn't happen until we moved ahead with step 2.
Yeah,
So they got you locked in.
yeah,
They're only gonna pay for one when you start step 2 and pay for step 2 when you're doing.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I would just have one question on that whole topic. If there was going to be any sort of penalty for turning down such a project and improving the stormwater system, is the state going to look at penalizing the towns, taking away grant money, making it harder for you to get grant money? Just curious.
I don't think that there's any, it's more like, these consultants coming out and trying to get us to do this process, for the long term of Lake Champlain. But when they initiated this whole thing a few years ago even, Canada and New York weren't even on board with it. And so they're looking to Vermont to do it all, and everybody said, well, what's the point? If Vermont does all this and these other two bordering, locations don't, it's not gonna really change Lake Champlain drastically. So I think it was them reaching out to us saying, hey, we can help you, here's the process you can go through to do it. I mean, I can check with even neighboring towns that have, you know.
I'd like to see a different process.
And also, the people who did this for us they're hired by somebody who was hired by somebody who was hired by the state.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not like the AOE was in here or something like that, so.
And we asked them, you know, let our stormwater and our sewer, you know, let's separate some of those. Oh, no, we don't do that. And so we said, what about the sewer plant? You know, how much phosphorus are we putting out? We don't do sewer plants.
Agriculture property, we don't do agricultural property.
No.
The railroad,
Railroad, we don't do the railroad.
So these are the big contributors. They want us to put in some little ring, you know, the bump outs in Rutland?
Yeah.
That's this program.
and they didn't want to get into the culvert system. They've got the map, and that's what I hope we get detailed of. And we asked the question, well, if you want to see where the pollutants are, why don't you test the water coming out of the culvert system before it goes into the Otter Creek? Well, we don't test water. They didn't really care about the culvert system. That's why I say I'd love to see what the emission statement is.
I'd like to see what they charge for this.
Yeah.
That's a good question, but I don't think there's any penalty. Down the road, they're gonna get a lot harder, I think, on some of this stuff, phosphorus.
Eventually.
Yeah.
But you don't ever hear about New York State doing anything with Lake Champlain.
Or Canada.
Yeah.
All right, anything else for this item? Skating rink contracts.
They're both included in your packet, and they've been signed, actually. Not the one. So they're exactly as they were last year, as far as cost-wise.
Yeah.
They didn't go up.
I realized last year was a tough year. I think we need a little more protection on our end. You know, that was $10,000. And, you know, how many days of skating did we have?
3 or 4, but that's skating. That's not all the work that goes into it, Tom.
Well, I worked there, I understand that completely. But, you know, we also pay $10,000 for that much skating.
But it's not just that much skating.
No.
Andre or Brian, because I don't do the plowing, they have to plow, they have to sweep, they have to shovel every time it snows.
I understand that.
But that's not what you're saying. You're saying that it was for 3 days of
So
skating.
every single time, regardless of making ice.
Yeah, but Brian, and I made ice, you know, when my kids, I made ice for years.
It's not how it used to be.
I know that, you know, that's why we're talking about this.
Right.
We wouldn't have had to talk about this 20 years ago. But, you know, the residents are saying, you know.
So I remember several years ago when we first took it over, the same questions came up. And when Stan was the town manager, we had Sarah Patch as our ice maker.
It was that.
We documented every single hour that went into it. And when the board reviewed it, you guys weren't paying us nearly enough for us doing what we're doing. Last year, yes, was a bust. So last year, our ice maker and ourselves, I guess you would say, kind of made out. Every other year, it's not that way at all.
Okay.
We don't make anything.
And we
And
don't.
it's for the love of this community, it's the
not
love
for
of the
the
kids. We've put in countless hours. And those 3 days, that was a struggle to even get it.
Yeah.
I wish I could make it colder, I wish I could make the ground freeze faster. If we had a chiller, that's a whole nother conversation. But some years are gonna be that way.
The facility's open year-round now, you know, like, I can see where you're saying that. That stipend for Brian and I, or for, it's one of us. For us, it's the whole year, and we put in a lot of volunteer hours, and to me, it's not about the money, first of all. We enjoy doing it. The person that did it before us wanted $12,000 just for the ice making, and that's why they had to step away. You know, we split this, Brian or Andre, whoever, and Andre works his butt off. I mean, you were at the meeting when Gannon's like, I couldn't believe what goes into just the ice making. I don't know what it used to be, but having to make ice and get 25 layers down and the temps to be just right, you know, and it's fighting the weather. I didn't believe Brian when we first started doing it. You know, like I said, it's not just, first of all, it's not about the stipend, because we enjoy doing it. I said, but there's a lot of other stuff that goes into it than just getting the skates up there. That's 6 hours. We have 250 pairs of skates, just switching out the roller skates now because it's not the ice skates, to get them up on the shelves. And we are doing that this weekend. That's on our time. You know, there's a lot of stuff. We've brought birthday parties to the rink. We do fun activities there. We got paid for the summer camp, but that was a whole different thing that we brought to the rink. The roller skating, that's not stipend. That's stuff that we do.
I think we should split this up. You know, I don't consider this a yearly payment. You know, this is for the skating season.
But I know you're upset about it, but in the end.
Well, no, I'm not upset.
I'm sure I know who's after this, because it's the same person that's after us every skating season when we're there. And like, we were talking to actually the neighbors along the thing, and it was, who's the woman that runs up and down Route 3?
Helen.
Yeah, she said, you know, if someone has a problem, she goes, I can't believe the hours that you guys put over there. They're there. They see it. They know we are there. And it's, you know, Brian will help Andre. Andre will do it and have my 2 younger kids there. He does it whenever he can. You're not going to find someone that's going to volunteer and do it, and it's going to be done the way it should be done. I mean, if that's what you're looking for, then feel free.
No, I'm not looking for volunteers. I don't think that's right.
I don't know, then what are you looking for? I'm just asking.
Okay, if we have a bad year, I'd like to see us get a little money back. If we have a great year, good for you.
So,
Your concession.
when was the last time that budget was raised?
It hasn't.
I don't know.
Curiosity.
It hasn't. We've been
doing it for
6 or 7 years, and we have never.
It's been level funded for 7 years, hasn't cost you a cent more.
Okay.
I think
Like
that
everything
speaks volumes
else.
for itself.
You know, everything else has gone up. And I don't know who's complaining, which is kind of crazy because we open it as much as we can, even in the off season. It's open. We had someone complain that it was a beautiful week and I didn't open the roller skating rink. Well, I also work a 40-hour plus week job, and so does Brian. It's not that we're just sitting home doing nothing. You know, it's frustrating to hear this because we take pride in what we do over there.
So, the prep work that has gone into last year's ice, you're looking at 3 days of skate. Every single time it snowed, we had to shovel, we had to plow, we had to sweep. Every single time. It doesn't mean I can make ice the next day, it doesn't mean I can make it that night. I need to clear it because I can't have it there, it can't freeze to the surface. I need to have that surface prepped every single time. We're at the mercy of the town garage. The guy's got a job to do. We can't stop them from doing their job. We gotta wait for that equipment. Once we do get it, it may be even later. It may be 11 o'clock by the time I'm starting, or when Andre's starting. I may have 40, 50 hours in plowing, sweeping, and shoveling before I can even make ice. So like, if you wanna pay per sweep event, per plow event, we're gonna destroy that budget before we even get to make ice. Like, I have to get all the pine needles off, the leaves off. From here on out, I'm clean. And it's gonna be that way until we start making ice.
Okay, how can we make everybody happy?
I don't know, is it just you that's unhappy, or?
No, I don't think it's just me, you know.
Well, like, I don't know, unless someone else takes it over. That would be, if that's what you want, then that's what could happen.
Well, then how about if we try one more year with this contract? I don't know, I'm just speaking for myself.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And we
like, it's
review it
frustrating.
again.
If you'd like, we can just walk away right now and you can figure it out, because that's where I'm at
Didn't
right
come
now.
here to fight.
Listen, we've done so much for this community.
I
and
know,
continue to give
I
to the
know
community.
that. I didn't come here to
And you
fight.
want nickel and dime what it takes to make ice.
And Andre
I've
does,
invited everybody out. Every one of you are more than welcome to come out and watch the entire process.
So,
Right now, you're informing us, you know, it's just
Well,
like you
and,
said, there
you know-
was 3 seasons, or 3 days that was open, and it cost $10,000, and somebody may have complained. We don't know, you know, everything
Yeah.
that goes on to running the rink and making the ice. This,
and that's why, like,
you
the
know,
neighbor
ice
said,
manager position, like you just informed us tonight, that's regardless of whether you're making ice or not,
It has to be
that's a 3-season full-time activity, so
Well,
I
it
have
has-
no issues with.
it has to be plowed, because you always have
Yes,
hikers there.
yes.
So the parking lot constantly has to be plowed. There's people that are there all the time now. They'll be on the playground no matter if it's snowing or not. And all the hikers that park there every single day. That has to stay plowed. And just Andre doing the plowing, or Brian, that makes up for what Andre makes in a season, whether it's ice making or not. And he does the same thing. He's a great worker. He's willing to come out at all hours of the night. You're not gonna find people like that when you can make ice, and he's there. Whenever he is able to make ice, he is there.
so what I'm hearing, I think, is that part of this might be a semantics thing, you know, what is involved and who does what and things like that. I think, you know, at this point, and this is just my opinion, and obviously everyone else, please share. I think we should go forward with what we've got right now. This is what we've, you know, where we're at. Maybe at the end of the season, look at it and just see if there are some ways that we could change it that would make more sense to everybody. Not necessarily cost more, cost less, but probably better define what the duties are and where the money is going and what we're getting for the money. Because if you do break it down to, we only had 3 days of skating and it cost $10,000, that sounds like, you know, not a great thing. When you do explain, Brian, like the stuff that's involved, to me, it makes a lot more sense. So, that's my 2 cents.
That sounds great.
No, I think you're doing a fantastic job year-round with that property. When
Well, you know,
it used to
Just sit
just
there.
be,
They used to just sit there for 9 months out of the year. And no one
Exactly.
complained, like that blows my mind. And the other thing is there was never donations ever turned into the town. I'm just gonna leave that
Right.
there. And the donations that get turned in when we are open on the off-season, if it's not skating, those go right back to that skating rink. Or stuff for the families in town.
The new front deck looks absolutely phenomenal.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
The playground is such an amazing addition. So I honestly think the problem is that we're using, like we said, you know, the budget hasn't changed in that many years, and neither have the descriptions of what's going on. And it doesn't even pay attention to the fact that the rink is open during the summer, and that we have roller skating now, and that there is a changeover between roller skating and ice skating and all that
And
sort of
it's,
stuff.
like we said, it's not about the stipend at all. But,
No.
like, for someone to bring it up, it's really frustrating because people don't know what goes into it.
no, they don't.
It would be easier for us to explain if, you know, we could say this is for the whole year. You know, because you look at this and it,
But you would never get someone, let's be honest, you would never get someone to be at that rink for a whole year for $6,000. Because that's what that's, for Brian and I, that's a combined stipend. You would never get someone to do that.
I agree.
No.
So and that, like I said, it's not about the money at all. That's not what it's about. But it's frustrating that people bring it up, but they don't know what's really going on.
That's part of
the
the
issue
course,
right
that you
It
don't,
is, and it was
By you
funny.
being here, and thank you for being here, that information can be conveyed, and, you know, it's on peg, so they'll know better, they'll have a better understanding. They won't look at it and say, that was for 3 days of skating. Well, there's a
No,
lot
but
more
that's what
to it
people
than
see it
3
as.
days of skating.
Anytime the town goes out to plow, to salt, I have to
Yeah.
go out.
Just-
Yeah,
So if we take that into consideration, as soon as they're done, we're there.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the trucks.
Does the town plow the parking lot?
Nope, that's.
They pull into it to turn around and carry on with the roadways.
That's-
I kind of wouldn't expect them to get in and plow another parking lot. I'm more concerned with town roads than I am with the parking lot.
Right, and the salt and stuff we don't want in that parking lot.
Right.
No.
Just because of the facts.
And I do know every once in a while, the parking lot gets a little hairy and I'm like, I need some sand mix. Limit the salt use.
Yeah,
But
I mean, if you'd
because
be
they get
happier,
tracked up onto the surface.
if I rewrote these to make it so it's, you know,
And we don't mind keeping track of
Skating,
hours, if that's something you guys want to see, like we did for Stan several years ago, it was pennies on the dollar.
I think,
Oh, yeah,
my
I don't doubt
suggestion
it.
would be, because, and I'm not discrediting you guys at all for the money that you do make, but you stop and take that per hour, you're not making much at
No,
all.
it was pennies.
No.
When
Right.
Stan,
Right.
Stan bought it, it's probably still there. Stan couldn't believe, because it was
Right.
someone else that questioned us years
Right.
ago, what actually went in, and that, it was like over 300 hours that we had in for the season. It was,
And it was split,
Stan
we had it
had-
split between our operational days and our
Right,
ice making days.
but
Yeah.
what I was gonna suggest would it be feasible to look into a volunteer program to help, not with any of the maintenance, but just being there, so like you guys wouldn't have to be there when it's open?
We enjoy being there, because our kids are there. You know, we don't mind. I mean, if there's a day that for some reason we can't make it, Andre has always stepped in.
Okay.
So it's always been that whoever, you know, either Brian, myself, Andre, and his girlfriend, that's how it's always been, just the four of us, since we started.
Oh, okay.
6 years
So
ago.
that wouldn't,
It doesn't, I mean, it wouldn't hurt, like, we have volunteers from the high school that always come over
Uh-huh.
to help out, which is, I think, good for them for community service, but
we talked about kind of building the committee more because everybody on the committee is not a voting member basically, because we don't work for the town. So trying to get, you know, and like in those situations where say you couldn't open it because of something, then that volunteer could go there and open it up
Yeah.
or something, you know? That's the only thing, and that's the same with all the committees, trying to get people,
yeah,
you know?
yeah, and it's hard.
because
But
it's
like
the
their
same people.
donations do
volunteer.
pay for the electricity there, so that's not even coming out of the budget.
And I remember that conversation with Stan and those numbers, and I
every
was blown
single
away.
year is every single year is completely different.
Oh, yeah.
Like last year. Last year was a complete bust. We did sink a lot of time into surface management,
But, yeah.
And taking ice, and then it
we
just.
tried
And
a dozen times to get it. And we're like, all right, we got it, come in the next day, and we watched it melt away.
yes,
It's gone.
it's gotta be a kick in the butt when you put all that effort in and it's nothing but water and slush.
So can we agree, let's keep the contract for this year the same, and then revisit and see if we can figure out a way to just be more transparent, I think is the best way to put it, so that everybody understands what exactly is going on. And I'm not saying you're trying to not
So
be
do you want to
transparent.
see like an hour log of each thing that's gonna happen, or do you want to see like, I swept today? 'Cause so for the next couple weeks, it's gonna be just that, I'm sweeping.
Now, I think, okay, because as far as like the contract goes, the contract, in my opinion, is between the manager and you guys. The board doesn't approve the contract.
No.
The only way the board can get rid of the contracts is if they go through the budget and agree to reduce the money funding for when they make cuts. So I'd be happy if you just give me updates so I know what's going on there. So like, I don't need like the police report. I don't, but like just if events are coming up so I can post them for people so they know on our website too. And just update me when the weather is what it is, and, you know, I'll try to maintain our website as much as
I
possible
was
so
waiting, 'cause
it
it's
gets
cold
out there.
For someone to say, are you making ice tonight?
Right.
'Cause, you know, but.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I need a week of teens to get the ground temperature below, I gotta be well below 32. I gotta be at
Yeah.
least 25 before I can start making ice. But that's
Yeah.
a week of teens to get the ground that cold.
Do you
Once
think-
it's there, I can try to start building on that.
Do you think it has to do, and might sound stupid, but with like global warming, with the temperatures the way they are, or the tar versus before when it was just lawn? I mean,
So I thought about that too. The tar is flatter and I feel like it's quicker for me to get enough ice on it that you can skate on it. It's a little more forgiving. We helped Rutland Town try to start their ice rink back, and it was just that. It's a lawn area, and it was kind of a bowl. So they tried with flooding, and it was ice, and then it was no ice, and then there was a big gouge through it because of where they tried running the hoses, and they fought, and they fought hard.
But do you think if people, like, didn't need it perfect ice, that they could still skate on it? Like, even if it got ruined after a day and knowing we can't make ice the next day? I mean, I'm just saying, I'm trying to appease some of those people that, well, I can't.
So at that, it takes me 3 solid days to sharpen every single skate.
Yeah.
If I go through and it takes me 25 layers to make skatable ice, I'm not looking for hockey games by any means, because that's too abrasive for the ice. You're going out and just doing a casual skate. If I let it get diminished, you're not gonna hit the pavement. All of my sharpening is now out the window. As soon as you hit the pavement, it's done. So now I gotta go through, refine those skates, resharpen those skates. More time that I have involved in it. So if I'm closing it because the ice is soft, I'm trying to protect the ice that I have
And the
hope to be
skates.
able to build on it again, and also trying to protect the town's property. The town has paid for those skates.
Unless you guys want it done differently. And Andre always calls us before he says the ice is good to go. Like, he's very good. He's very good, because you can't find a lot of people that are gonna be up all night in the middle of the night making ice in freezing cold weather.
well, like Judy said, I think the contract's between you and her, but it's just nice for us so that when people come and complain,
Yeah,
and you know people, they're gonna
they
complain no
do.
matter
I
what
know.
you do.
yeah.
Just to have some answers for them, you know?
And we have always invited people to come over and watch the ice making at night when Andre's there, or Brian's there, just, because I don't think people realize that it's with a fire hose. People still think that's flooded, and it's supposed to just freeze, but that's not how it's done. It's layers and layers of water with a fire hose.
Yeah, and we looked at that before we paved it. And the whole 9 yards, we looked through a lot of that stuff. And I'm glad it's working.
I do believe when it was a black color asphalt, it helped melt it faster from underneath.
Yeah.
Once you start that channel underneath, it creates air pockets, and it's bad, it just breaks away. The gray has helped, and it slows it down, but again, I need that asphalt to get cold.
Yeah.
We looked into having it painted white.
That was like $20,000.
Yeah.
It was incredibly expensive. I thought about using the same white paint that the road crew uses to paint the line markings and everything. Is it gonna be the same? Is it gonna deteriorate? How's that gonna react on the coating that's there? I don't have those answers, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Good, we all set?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys for all you
Thank you,
do.
Lisa.
Have a good night. Take care.
Night, guys.
Thank you.
So at this point, is there a motion to recess the regular select board meeting and convene the Board of Water Commissioners?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Delinquent accounts.
All right, so before the end of the season, when we couldn't shut water off anymore, we had 4 shut-offs scheduled. One actually, had gotten funding, so her balance was low. So we didn't shut that one off. The other 2 that all 3 that we were shutting off, all came in and paid. So, one got an agreement and the other 2 paid in full. So,
Good,
Great,
great.
Good news.
program's working.
Any other business for water commissioners?
Believe so.
If not, is there a motion to adjourn the Board of Water Commissioners and convene the Board of Sewage Commissioners?
Second?
All those in favor say aye. Anything for sewer commissioners?
Just that the guys finished their third class on the asset management for the wastewater facilities. So there's another one, I think, that is like a follow-up covering all 3 classes, and it's in the spring. So, yeah.
I'm glad,
Would you talk to Kyle and see if they could do some trimming around just around the outside of the fence at the sewer plant?
Yep.
We got some trees growing up through the fence. Gonna give us trouble.
Anything else for sewer commissioners? If not, is there a motion to adjourn the Board of Sewer Commissioners and reconvene the regular Selectboard meeting?
So moved.
second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Department reports, I think we covered the sheriff.
Yes.
Yep.
Town manager.
All right, let's see, into the highway, the DPW did some rough patches on Pleasant, Eden, and South Street, and they also removed the grills from Beaver Pond, the frill, and brought it to the town garage for winter storage.
The grills.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not the frills. Signs on Kane Street, a few folks were upset about it, but the majority were fine, and after the sheriff was contacted to ticket those ignoring the signs, the vehicles were all moved. I still had a couple complaints after that because people were now parking up on High Ledge. So instead of parking in the street, they drove up the mountain where they had property and parked there, so other cars, vehicles couldn't get up. But it's their property. I looked at the property maps, and it is their property, so
Yeah.
I don't know if OMIA has to get up there past them, how they're gonna get there, but I did reach out to the owners and ask them if they could remove it, and he said they can walk up to the mountain if they want to. Fire department was already mentioned, and good news. Planning Commission, we met on the 2nd of November, and Jeremy Gildrian from Rutland Planning Commission was present to discuss the MERP grant and the town not being considered for round 1 based on energy burdens compared to others. We're still eligible, it's just that we're in a 2nd tier, not the 1st tier. So there will be funding available. He also offered to assist the town with drafting an energy plan, which he said can be an advantage when seeking state funding and programs, looking to fill a seat on the Planning Commission as well from Tom Doty's resignation. So I have that one out there on the website also, trying to find some members to join these committees.
We already have an enhanced energy plan with the town plan. This gentleman was new to the Regional Planning Commission, and anyway, when is it, do you know when our town plan is due again? It should be like 2 more years.
I think, yeah, I'm trying to think of the last year.
So that would be the time to do a new energy plan.
Right, right. As we mentioned, deck construction began November 1st over at the rink, and it is completed. The Halloween party there was a success, and we mentioned earlier that we're looking to have members join the Park and Rec Committee so we can have a quorum and help at the rink. On 11/11, there was a chili and mac and cheese cook-off, and then in the contracts, depending on weather, hope to open the rink 3:30 to, boy, I got some typos here, 9 p.m. weekdays and 12 to 9 on weekends. They have a birthday party coming up there, and then a Santa party as well. Flags were flown half-staff to honor those killed in Lewiston, Maine. The clerk purchased a wreath for the monument for Veterans Day. All documents for the Zion grant were filed on time, and Zion and I were to review to make sure there were no discrepancies. That became a real mess because We both reviewed it, we did everything we were, and the state kept emailing us saying, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, you've got to upload this. And I was like, we've already done all that, I don't get, and they were like, oh, sorry, we missed that. So, and even Travis reached out to them and said, I completed everything on time, got commitment that it was done, so what's going on? And they said, oh, we apologize, everything's okay. So they have everything. So the next plan, I believe, is not due until the spring for the project update.
Where does Zion stand with the water issue? That just kind of faded away.
Well, it's kind of, I don't know, you guys didn't do anything more on it as far as you were kind of upset with him. I asked for questions to be answered.
Put the ball back in his
Yep.
court, yeah.
And he never answered me. I reminded him again, said I needed them. He said they were gonna be drafted by someone else, rewritten, and I said, I don't want a rewrite. I want what you read to us while you were at the meeting. There's no need for changes at all. And he still hasn't gotten it to me. And I also reached out to him saying we need to create some type of agreement on your delinquencies. And he hasn't got back to me.
Yeah, I mean, he's gotta come up with some money for the back money that he owes us.
Yeah, so I'm gonna reach out to them again, but there's no reason he couldn't have just forwarded me out what he had on his phone.
Yeah, it was on his phone.
Yeah,
So I said to him, I don't want it altered. I want what you read to us. So that's what we need to go off of to, to
yeah,
re-examine
he's
this.
gotta come up with some money here. This is a little,
Yeah, because, I mean, I guess I need that lead from you. So if I reach out and say we do an agreement like everybody else, you pay the delinquency up front, over the span of the year, and then you still owe us for current, I mean, there's a big chance they're just gonna say, forget it, and we're out of here. So that's what I need from you guys, what your thoughts are.
Is that how you feel they are? They're leaning?
No, I mean, there's no communication between us, really.
oh, that's their problem.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah. They're not good at getting back to me on things.
Yeah, we have no recourse though right now, because we can't shut them off. Because
Right,
time of
not
year.
now, because of the time of year. But we can make them enter into an agreement. I mean, they owe taxes, they owe water, they owe sewer.
Yeah,
How about if we send them a letter asking them what they plan on doing with these delinquencies? Give them a chance to,
And is there a lien on the property since they are delinquent?
No, because there's no agreement that they broke.
But I thought if you were delinquent, that automatically resulted in a lien.
that's what we were told.
Well, yeah, but, and it's a lot, that they're delinquent in, so I'll write a letter and I'll also check with Celia for the total. Because there's just gonna be more coming up in the
yeah,
spring.
I mean,
And now it's accruing interest.
And we're kind of stuck until spring now, but at least we can send them a letter.
Yeah, because I email them, asking for information, call them.
And then there again, that's, he has renters, so that's similar to King Street,
Okay.
yeah, you can't just let him,
No,
no, I mean, he owns this they own this property over here, and I can't imagine them just walking out the door, I think.
Well, I think too, based on the last meeting, the board didn't come to a conclusion and say we're sticking to where we were at the first
Well,
place.
because we asked them
Yeah.
to send us the information.
Right, so I think until then, we've got to make a decision, either put it on the agenda and then make that decision so it's in writing, and this is where we're at, so then if he wants to agree that he can, then we have more ground to go after them.
Yeah, we've got to push the button.
So right now, it's up in limbo, and he's just,
Yeah,
taking advantage of.
right,
So what if we put it on the agenda for the next meeting? If they don't provide us with the information, we'll move forward, and if they do, we'll move forward.
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Quick question, that's only current though. I mean, you're talking about retroactive to what they're past due also, about adjusting that?
I'm not.
So what they're past due, you could still write a letter. I mean,
Oh, yeah, I could still write the letter.
I mean, I don't think if I was past due that much, you'd send me a friendly letter at this time of the year to say, Lisa, what do you intend doing with the delinquencies on your property if you're, I don't get why they're always the anomaly or the exception to the rule.
Well, and I don't know if it was even clear with the board if they basically said that we're lowering it to, 50% for current only. I don't know if that was ever really stated.
I never, to me, the intention was never to lower it for previous years.
No.
I would not have voted for that if that had
But do
been.
they understand that?
Yeah, I don't know if they understand that. That's why I
If
wanted,
you go back and watch the meetings, it's pretty clear, but you understand what you want to understand.
Well, and also, I think I even said, we've already budgeted this for this year.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
yes, it wasn't implicitly stated, but it was,
yeah.
The question was asked of them, are you arguing your past delinquency, or are you arguing or are you asking for the current?
In the letter to Michael
You're gonna run that
Ramsey,
letter by the lawyer, right?
he
Yeah.
was
well, I mean,
reading
my
both.
initial letter, I just want to find out.
That's not what he said when he said
I
that.
just
No,
want it
you're
back
right,
on the
but
agenda
there's a
so we
letter
can say,
that Michael
this is where we're at. We're at 50%,
Yeah.
that's it, done deal. Then a letter will be sent saying, we need an agreement now, and if you don't, that's what I think.
so let's do that.
Okay. Works for me. Everybody okay?
Yeah.
Let's see. Reached out to the state for assistance with 2651 West Street. They were reaching out to the owners, for their legal advisor. They're gonna be contacting the select board to discuss next steps, so I'm guessing they haven't contacted you yet. But, they were very quick when I emailed them to respond. They said that, it's the Vermont Department of Health, and they said, no, we're on this, and we're gonna see what we can do to get them, have an asbestos report. They agreed with me that if they were having a house built by Habitat Humanity, that they definitely would have, gone and gotten an asbestos report done, stuff, so. So they're gonna try to see what avenues they can get to. So I gave them all their contact information, emails, also Brittany's, that she was involved at one point, so.
Have the taxes been paid?
I think they have, I think they were paid right after the fire, right before. But when I did email them, and that said that, everything was supposed to be cleaned up by 11:15, and nothing's happened at all. This was the first of the month, and that no report was filed, and I explained to them that we would have to clean up ourselves, and then put a lien on the house and then tax sale it, so. And I haven't heard anything. So.
Shit.
I also called Casella regarding people overloading their trash bins. A lot of people have been overloading the bins, using recyclable bins for garbage, and then overloading them with just, garden bags, white bags, things. They're falling out of the bins or on the ground.
Yeah.
And I said to him that we don't want those picked up. If they're not in a red bag, or, the top's closed, do not pick that garbage up. And he said, my guys are really good, they don't pick them up. And he said, I'll call them right now and let them know because they're in town. So when I went through town afterwards, they were all picked up, so.
There was one on South Street, there was,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Still is, this week too.
and
Yes.
it was all picked up.
Yep. So, I gotta get on the horn with them about that. We're working on compiling budget details with departments. I worked with the highway department and the committees so far, and the fire department. They've got back to me with their budgets, so.
Where's Kyle's report?
Huh?
Where's Kyle's report?
He only does it at the end of the month. It's once a month, end of the month.
I thought we were start getting them every meeting, every 2 weeks?
No, because I asked him when I first started, what's your report? He said, I only do it at the end of the month.
Yep.
So he does it for the whole month.
Okay.
Speaking of public works, we're at the end of the mowing season. Now, will they clean the equipment and service the equipment and prep it for winter
Yeah.
storage? And that will be in his report, and then when we get it, that
Yeah.
took care of all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Du Bois King reached out to me because they're the ones who are doing the consulting for the South Street project. And they said that there is a Vermont Transportation Alternative Grant, which is due in December, and that they said that they would assist me with doing that grant as a supplement, because if the project goes over, then that grant money is available to supplement that. So they drafted up an agreement with it probably not maxing out over $2,000 to assist in the grant writing, so I thought that would be very helpful, so.
And the trees are coming down.
On South Street, I don't know, I reached out to him and he kept saying several weeks. He took care of the ones on Patch Street
Yeah.
about 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago,
Kyle gonna pick that firewood up?
on Patch Street.
Yeah. That was a hardwood tree.
Oh, I don't know. Is it still lying there? Okay, he probably will. They pick up all the wood around if they can. But if it's decent size, so they can cut it. So, but I'll ask them. And I don't know why they aren't taking the ones on South Street down yet. I mean, the project's not starting to spring, but still.
Yeah, it would be nice to get it down when the ground is,
Yeah, because several weeks have passed and,
Yes, they're supposed to do it.
well, when we gave them the bid, they said they were several weeks out.
Yeah, but that was what, 12 weeks ago?
oh, yeah, gotta be,
Anyway, we can push them a little bit, please.
Yeah.
is what I'm saying. Now, those people are gonna move back in their house there, and they're gonna be happy with trucks all over the front lawn.
Originally, they weren't going to, so. I'm also looking for a new forester, because ours is retiring. So, I've talked to Tom Grace about the potential of, are there contractors out there that would actually go up to the property in Chittenden and actually create a road as they cut? And he said he would be willing to do so. So I'd like to go out for an RFP so we could try to move part of that money that we put away for a road up there back into the building fund. Because there's certain things in this building that were supposed to be done out of that money, and then it was moved to do that road, so those things aren't being done.
Anything else for the town manager?
Are we about to adjourn?
Well,
Ready for the
yeah, budget?
Okay, well, before we do that, I'd like to suggest that we appoint or get a volunteer to be a town historian. Mrs. Kennedy was great, for years she knew. And I think Dale would be a great person for this, and if anybody else knows anybody, it's certainly into Proctor. Just a volunteer.
So look for volunteers to
Yeah.
do that?
Yeah, we'll put Dale Christie on this.
So, budget season is upon us. And one thing, because I don't know how much we can really dive into tonight because we don't have the whole budget. But the thought that I had is, there have been years where we have tried to tackle this at the end of meetings and do a couple departments at a time. It's my thought that we would be a lot more efficient doing this in a special meeting where we could just focus on the budget for the entire time. I don't know what your thoughts are, so I just wanted to throw that out there and see
I agree.
what everybody thought.
And I sent it out this way per Stan's suggestion, and just to see if there's anything, if you perused it. If there's anything you think, oh no, that's way too much, we've got to cut there, or we need to beef up a different, a certain line item or something like that. And like I said, I got the highway now, so I'll plug those in, fire, I'll plug those in, the committees.
But really, we need highway, we need to really see what we're doing at this point.
Yeah, and the fire department must have given you a budget.
I just got it today.
Yeah, it's here.
And I gotta calculate everybody's, I still won't have figures for like workers' comp and all that stuff on the league till later, so I'm gonna have to kind of see where we're at and try to do the guesstimate until they come on board with that. Hopefully I'll get it in the next few weeks, or a couple weeks. Insurance has gone up 14%, health insurance. We looked at another carrier, which was slightly lower, but in the in the outskirts, it's like, it's not gonna matter, but if we have to do all the legwork to switch over, it's not saving us hardly anything. We actually only have 4 people on the health insurance.
Really?
Yeah. I see in the past, when Michael budgeted it, the vacant ones that aren't having insurance, he put those in as like 2-party family in case someone left. I mean, I'd like to be conservative, but not that conservative. And then talking about like raises and everything like that. We've got to have a operator for the wastewater plant and water, so we're talking about that.
Celia hasn't given you her budget?
No, we're supposed to meet next week, actually this week.
Okay.
Stan said this is what he did. He said he gave it to you guys, plug in the numbers, and then we look at
You
it.
got all the numbers plugged in.
Oh, he said he didn't. He said he threw it out to you guys and just said, hey, here, plug in the numbers you think. I mean, a lot of these, you guys aren't gonna be able to do because they have to be calculated. Anything in the top tier, the clerk, workers' comp, all that stuff.
Yeah.
We used to get a budget with all the numbers plugged in. Stan would always jump everyone up like 10%. Right down through.
All right.
But anyway.
Well, I can do that, so if
Well,
you...
no, let's wait and get the budgets here. I mean, Celia can give you a good number.
Right. And I calculate a lot of her stuff for her too. Yeah, I just got fires today, so I'll put that in.
So when do we think we'll have something that we'll be ready to look at?
Well, when you have a special meeting, are you doing it, because we used to do it piecemeal, like we used to do administration, clerks, treasurers, like that, and then we do
We're not gonna be
fire.
able to do
Police, yeah, right.
one night.
So is that the way you want to do it? Like take the first,
Yeah, first 2 or 3 pages or...
Albert?
One question on Department 93, that's on page 11. What's that solar contract? There's nothing budgeted, and actual is $64,596.
How far down are we, Albert?
Page 11?
Page 11, it's Department number 93. It's the last item listed.
Taxes and assessment, yeah.
Solar contract.
that is, I believe, the solar contract we have to get electricity, so it's, some of these line items that he had in here aren't really budgeted. In other words, the money is allocated, but it comes in and pays it. So it's not, it's like even bond payments and stuff, and they're listed. So it's not like a budgeted item that we have to expend for. We actually get the solar credits. Like when we get all the Green Mountain bills, we get some that have all solar credits in there. So we have to allocate for those.
So it's not funded?
No, it's not.
It's not,
So
so
this-
that's not an expense.
No.
And there's a lot of, there might be some in here that are old, like blank, because for some reason, which I think is crazy, we create a line item for every single thing we ever expended, and then we don't have that expense again, but it still remains.
You can clean that up,
So-
all right?
Yeah. That,
Yeah, that's something I'll have to work with Celia, because she keeps track of all the, I just want to make sure I don't delete one that she said, well, maybe don't, you know, we'll have to use it
Yeah.
or something like that.
So, yeah, if we've got a blank space here and there, that's not a big,
And I'm starting to get in all the letters for the budget for, like, you know, the agencies that want a portion of the money in our budget, so.
So,
Just a general question, you know, because on these pages, there isn't any information for the proposed budget for fiscal year '25, but seems every page has notes in it. Now, are those the notes that are applicable for
No, I
budget
said,
year '24?
no, when I sent them out, I said those were notes for fiscal year '24.
Okay.
And I'm trying to use old spreadsheets, and there's certain ones that, like, there's one I'm doing right now for the health insurance coverage, and for some reason, all the public works, there was no fiscal '24 put in there, the column, so I'm like, so I'm gonna try to track it down, but I'm gonna use fiscal '25, you know? Which, it's really hard, because I'm projecting for figures we don't even have, that don't exist. You know, like the workers' comp rates we get, the health insurance rates are for this year, coming year. They're not 2 years out, so I have to guess what will they be 2 years out. So,
Page 10, under parks, we pay our yearly mosquito control. Where's our buy-in for the mosquito district?
where's our what?
Buy-in.
probably because it didn't exist until this next year, it'll have to be put in as a line item, I'm guessing.
but we've already paid one payment.
Did you say page 10?
Page 10 of 12, under parks,
Parks.
mosquito control. It's probably 5 up from the bottom, 4,
Yep,
15,000, 17,000.
right. And then it jumped to 17.5?
Yeah.
Yep.
So where's our buy-in? Is it under another department?
The
Or
cost,
do we need to put an item in for that?
So this is just the cost of the spraying, and now
Right.
we're doing the buy-in for
But
the,
the buy-in,
to join.
right,
there was another check generated for that.
right, but I don't think it was in that fiscal year, like, it wasn't prior. So he shouldn't have separated it out, I don't believe, unless it's in this back one, let me check.
What I believe it, yeah, there was a check written for, there were 2 checks written from Proctor to the mosquito district, under my understanding.
But that would have been under the current fiscal year, right? I think the check they received for the current fiscal year.
That'd still be fiscal '24 though.
Right,
Yeah, but it would still be in here.
Yeah.
Well, it should be.
Did that not get budgeted for?
I don't see where it showed up at all.
No.
I couldn't find it.
right.
I
Well,
had to look too.
this is the duplicate of the budget last year, so I'll look and,
Yeah, because it was another
I'm sure.
amount, I think about 18,000.
Yeah, Celia must have cut a check.
Yeah, if you can find
Anyway.
out, that will take one question away.
okay.
Yeah.
So when do we, when can we start on our budgeting?
Well,
As far as meeting again?
Well, I mean, when will, Kyle have his budget in and
Well, I got Kyle's.
Celia?
I got Kyle's. Celia's I should get this week.
Recreation and,
Yeah. So I'll do all those this week. I'll plug those numbers in, and the other ones I'll just create.
so if we take the first 3 or 4 pages and work on that,
Do we want to do special meeting? I mean, next week's Thanksgiving week.
I think you should do a special meeting this week.
Do we want to do a special meeting this week?
well, are we gonna have some numbers?
Yeah, I'll work
we've
on
got some of these here.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we can plug numbers in.
Want to go from Department 30 up to Department 36 or 37? For the first meeting, is that too many?
Try to, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's ambitious, but we can probably do it. Again, a lot of this stuff we have to remember, not a lot of wiggle room, unfortunately.
Yeah, no,
Unfortunately, the big ticket items are the ones that we have no control over.
yeah, there's a lot.
Well, yeah, that's life, unfortunately.
I
Just
mean,
like
Casella, you know,
Insurance.
Just like, our budgets at home, we don't,
So Judy, I think one of the big things for me is, if we were to meet this week with those departments, would we have at least a general idea of what percentage increase we're looking for the entire budget?
Didn't you?
Right now it says 8%, but
right. Yeah, I mean, if I get the whole thing filled out,
Right.
I would, but if I don't, it's not like I sit down and just plug in numbers. The calculations for all the workers' comp and payroll and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And going off the spreadsheets I have existing are just mind-boggling, so I'm trying to create my own.
we could try to tackle, so we're saying we're gonna try to tackle all the departments 30, 31.
Yeah, so page 1 through 4.
try.
Yeah.
All right, what day, time is good for everybody? We're thinking the end of this week?
Yeah, Thursday? Would Thursday work for everybody?
I don't think there's any meetings Thursday. Thursday's okay with me.
I think so.
What time?
Do you want to start at 4?
I think that's a great time.
Okay.
Thursday at 4 for a special meeting for the budget?
Thursday at 4. Okay. Good, and Judy will turn the heat down a little bit before we get here.
Yeah.
Also, the Rutland County Solid Waste had reached out to me about coming to talk about the previous year, because they're trying to put all their funding together. So I told him he wouldn't be on until the 27th, and he said, oh, I have to be in Killington that day. It's too late, da-da-da-da. So I said, if we have a special meeting for the board, I said I could invite you, but if we do, it's gotta be like a 5-minute wrap-up.
Or just give us a written summary.
He wants to show us the summary and go over it. I could have him email it to us.
And the mosquito district will be coming.
Yes, they want to attend the meeting. Have they
On the
contacted you?
27th of November.
They're gonna contact you, they haven't yet?
Yeah, they sent me something.
Oh,
Yeah, they did.
So I'd say to him, send us something
Okay.
written that we can just,
Oh, okay.
that we can
All right.
read.
Okay.
Not the mosquito district, the Rutland.
No, yeah.
And under, just for my own knowledge, page 6, highway. The last entry, highway repairs, is that paving? Equipment rental, materials? Or
Yeah,
is
that's
it-
like, I think, like when they do the coal patch and stuff like that.
Okay, but what about paving?
Paving is usually under a separate paving, like highway, like funds, like the grants and stuff. So they're under the next page where they have highway improvements. That's the paving.
Oh, there it is, yeah. It's $85,000.
Paving, yep. Good.
Yeah, that didn't have the budget numbers across the top.
Right.
Okay,
Page
so
7.
Thursday at 4 o'clock?
Yep.
Yeah, I guess so.
Everybody bring a dish to pass? Any other business or questions? If not, is there a motion to adjourn? All those in favor say aye. 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 We're adjourned.